There is an ancient pilgrim tradition known as veneration. I'll explain later.
I think we will always remember this town as the place where a power outage hit last night, just as we were about to enter the hotel elevator on our way to a local grocery store. If we had been a little speedier, we might have been trapped inside the lift for 2 hours. Timing is everything. Take this morning. The nearly quiet streets are calming, soothing. We have the Camino almost all to ourselves.
We're leaving Santarem pretty early because we have another 32-kilometer day ahead of us. But first, how about a little history? Santarem began as a Roman stronghold in the 2nd century, and it was also their administrative center for the entire region. That lasted until about the 5th century when Germanic tribes and Visigoths took over. They continued until about 400 years later when the Moors captured the town. And then in 1149, Portugal's first king, Don Alfonso Henriques, managed to take it from the Moors. It's been pretty quiet ever since.
It takes more than an hour to descend out of the city and get back into the river valley where we were for most of the day before. Per our hourly routine, we stop for a snack, which in this case is leftovers from our dinner last night. Yeah, it's not much. These 3 women are half of all the pilgrims we've seen so far this morning. Plainly, this route isn't a crowded one. As for the hike, it continues through a variety of crops, mostly vineyards. Despite appearances, Portugal is actually a net importer of food, especially staples. One reason for that? People like us. Feeding tourists, it turns out, takes more food than is grown in the country. It's probably more complicated than that, but nevertheless, the local farms, as vast as they seem when we have to walk through them, aren't enough.
We're already quite a few kilometers into our hike today, and we've lost a few pilgrims who split off at Santarem on their way west to Fatima. Why? Well, in 1917, 3 shepherd children said they saw the Virgin Mary there. As one Lucia put it in her 4th memoir on the topic, "We beheld a lady dressed all in white, and she shone like the sun. The light was so intense and clear, it looked like a crystal glass filled with sparkling water with the burning sun shining through it." So, the faithful, to demonstrate their veneration, go there to stand near where this vision was supposed to have taken place. According to the story, Lucia was given 3 secrets. And I'm not sure if any of them actually came true, but the third one came pretty close. It predicted a bishop dressed in white falls as if dead. And many thought that referred to the attempted assassination of Pope John Paul II. And indeed, the bullet from that shooting is now in the crown of the statue of the Virgin of Fatima. By the way, 6.3 to 6.8 million people each year go to Fatima, although I suspect most of them aren't actually walking there. For those who do, they can join back up with the Camino de Santiago just north of here.
Navigation insecurity hits us along the way when the Camino markers stop showing up. The phone app gives us a hug and confirms we aren't lost. At least, not yet. We finally start rising out of the flat landscape on easy-to-climb slopes and reach our first town, Valla da Figueira. It's our opportunity at the only cafe for a proper breakfast. Okay, a sandwich. From here, the route wanders through some hills, passes a tributary of the Rio Tejo, and returns to the flatlands where there are mostly cornfields. At one point we come to what amounts to a message board on the Camino. Taking a marker to a water tank, I suppose, is harmless. And it does break up the walk a bit to read through the notes, some of them years old. I don't know how the farmer feels about the graffiti, although he clearly hasn't done anything to erase it. A long, almost featureless 18 kilometers takes us to our next town.
Azinhaga was the place where novelist José Saramago was born in 1922. Now, that's a big deal to the people here, because he was the first and only Portuguese writer to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. Now, before that fame, which came in his 60s, the Portuguese government ordered his book, The Gospel According to Jesus Christ, taken off a short list of candidates for a major book prize in 1992. Saramago exiled himself to Spain, where he lived until he died in 2010.
I promised myself I wouldn't rant about the last 7 kilometers to our destination, but screw it. This final section feels like a death trap as it follows the N365 highway. There's no shoulder most of the way, and the largely sympathetic drivers have little room to veer around us. I understand there are longer alternative routes, but they aren't marked. We met someone in Azanyaga who said friends of theirs took a taxi to avoid walking this. That's starting to sound pretty smart about now. Still shaky from the experience, we find our 5-star hotel in Golegã, where the only worry is how much the fancy schmancy dinner will cost.